Welcome to the AMATIC 2017 webinar series. Today, we've got Priming the Presenters and Presiders with Honey Kirk, Judy Williams, and Darlene Winnington. My name is Julie Gunkelman. I am the Professional Development Coordinator for AMATIC, and I will be your host. Please note that the views expressed by the presenter are not necessarily the views of AMATIC. Commercial products mentioned by the presenters are not endorsed by AMATIC. McGraw-Hill is our webinar sponsor this year. Thank you very much, McGraw-Hill. And without further ado, I will let each of these ladies introduce themselves to you, and go ahead and take it away.
Oh, there we go. So glad you're here, presenters and presiders. Let me show you who is here with you. You've met Julie. Judy Williams is our program coordinator. Darlene Winnington is our presider chair, and I'm the assistant conference coordinator. I work with the poster session presenters, if any of you are with us today. First, all of you deserve a round of applause. Sorry. Because it's you who submitted a proposal and/or volunteering to be a presider. You guys are what makes our conference great. We're so excited to see you again, and in some cases, to meet you next week.
We can't hear Judy.
Well, so much for checking that mute and not forgetting to take it off. Sorry about that. But again, this is a quick look at what information we're giving you today, an overview, getting your presentation, the last couple things to make sure you've done, what to do when you get to the conference. Darlene's going to tell you about the mobile app and what to do if you're a presider, and then Honey's going to tell you about poster session, and we'll spend a few minutes on social media options this year, and then some questions. And the first slide up after this one is actually just a nice picture of location. We're right there on the water, right beside the airport. Hopefully you got a nice email from Kevin Doctor earlier in your mailbox this morning that tells you that this hotel does provide a free shuttle from the airport, and you get directions in his email with a link on where to find that shuttle at the airport. So when you get there next week, it'll only take you a few minutes and no money to get over to the hotel. And then next we're going to provide you with a map of the hotel. Almost all the sessions are on one level with a few downstairs, and when you're looking at this map, you can find the place where your presentation is going to be, and if you're still not sure where that is, I'll point that out to you in just a minute. Right? And the conference overview by the numbers. At this point, over 1,350 people registered. There are over 400 of you presenting in some form, 170 or more sessions, 2 featured speakers from the local area that I think you'll find very interesting. Make sure you go to your regional meeting and breakfast on Friday and get to know some more folks from your area of the country. Take advantage of those commercial sessions. Some of you may be presenting those too, but that's where you really learn how to use some of the products that our exhibitors and vendors are offering to you. And be sure to visit all of them in the exhibit hall. We want to give a special thank you to our corporate partners, Hawks Learning and McGraw-Hill. When you see them, thank them for the nice bags you're going to get at the conference, and room keys, other things. And also, when Honey tells you about a Chat and Chew event coming up, these are the folks that are responsible for those nice pastries that you can have there with your coffee that you bring. Right? And then back to that idea of making sure your presentation is all ready to go. You can use that map that we had earlier. You can get this webinar up on YouTube very shortly, or just go to the hotel website and find that map again. But locate where your room is. You can know what room size you should expect, what it'll be set for. You can check your equipment and how many handouts you're going to need. And notice in red, check in with Judy and Darlene. Okay, well, that room location, room size, check equipment, you're probably saying, well, that's very nice, but I'm not sure I know what that is, or how should I know what that is? Well, back in April, you should have gotten a very nice invitation to present at this conference. Here's an example. Your proposal number and what's going on, the day on which your presentation is, the time at which it occurs, and there's your room. And how many people. These are all set in rounds of 10 seats each, so you're going to have 8 round tables in there. And if the room is set for 80 or more, there will be a microphone at the front on a podium if you want to use that, but also you can hook your computer into that sound system if you have some sound you want to broadcast to people. But in order to connect to those projectors, also in that invitation pack, you got a picture of the kind of connectors that you need. So make sure that you supply what you need. Okay? If it doesn't look like this, you have to bring your own with you. And those are questions that we usually get in emails at the last minute or in person at the conference. So hopefully this takes care of some of that information ahead of time. Now that red part on that one slide that says to check in with Judy and Darlene, okay? Yes, this is very important because Darlene and I like to get good night's sleep. We work hard at the conference and we want to be well rested. You can help us with that if you let us know that you're actually in San Diego in the hotel ready to go. Now, how and when can you do that? Well, you do that at registration. And you will be right there, Nautilus foyer. The Nautilus area is the downstairs, but you still have to follow the floor clings and the signs back through the hotel, past the main lobby to find us down there. But we will be around Wednesday, Thursday morning early, and the rest of the week too. So if you're presenting, let me know you're there. If you're presiding, you do need to see Darlene and pick up some information from her, and she'll tell you about that later. And I think that was everything I wanted to tell you at the moment.
Here's Darlene.
Well, hello everyone, and thanks for attending today. Hopefully this will make it a little smoother as you come in. You'll know what we expect, you'll know where you need to be, and what is going on at the conference. Well, you probably have received an email from Kevin Doctor about the mobile app. This mobile app is amazing. So I'm going to bring that up. That would give you the QR code so that you could just go ahead and download it right now. But I'm going to change your screen so that you can see what the web version of that looks like and show you a little bit of what's on this particular mobile app. Now, on a different device, it might look a little bit different than you're seeing here, but this will give you a good idea. Of course, here's our welcome to the conference. Next, we can take a look at the schedule. Well, you can go to the schedule and it'll be by day and by time, and you'll see all of the sessions that are listed there. So let's just say, oh, I think that might sound good. I need to engage my college algebra students. So once I click on that, it's going to tell me the date, the time. It's going to tell me the location, the presenters, and it's going to tell me a brief summary of what's going on in that particular session. What's also important here is that after you attend a session, say I were to attend S014, I should go into my app and click on Session Evaluation. When I click on Session Evaluation, I have several things to fill out. It doesn't take long. There's only 7 questions. 6 we ask you to answer. 7, 1 is for particular comments that you might like to share, and submit. The beautiful thing about this is that all of you who are presenters will be getting a lot of emails after your presentation as the attendees go ahead and complete those session evaluations. They are emailed immediately to you, and we just think that's a great way for you to get your feedback. This year, we will not have any paper evaluations whatsoever. We decided to make this a transition for 3 years. Last year was our 3rd year, no more paper. So those of you who are presiders before, no more tallying. So that's what the schedule looks like. When I click back on schedule and I see that full list, if this were my mobile phone, there would be a little round circle over here where I've got my pointer, and I could just click on that. And when I did, it would put any session I wanted to see in my personal schedule. So of course I'm not logged in and you can't see my personal schedule, but you could have your entire day planned under your schedule. Well, let's say I'm not really sure what's going on. Maybe it's your first time here. You can look at schedule tracks. All of these scheduled tracks are for you to click on. Maybe you want to join a committee. Everyone is welcome to join committees, and there's nothing there on Saturday, but our committee members' meetings take place on Friday, and they are at 4 o'clock, and you can see all of our committees there. You could also, maybe you want to go to the open forums. Our open forums are on Thursday, and I went the wrong way, I think. So those are some position statements that will be happening this year at the conference. Of course, maybe you want to make sure you get that regional breakfast and that regional meeting we were talking about. Here's where your breakfast will be. Well, I'm in the Mid-Atlantic region, and there's our vice president, and it'll tell me where it is and when to be there. Again, I could click and add that to my personal schedule. I do want to bring forth the poster session. I don't want to say a lot about it because I know Honey's going to talk to you about the poster session very soon, but you can see everything there that's scheduled on the app. Also, new this year is Chat and Chew. We'll be talking to you about that as well. If you're a Chat and Chew person, you are ready to be I don't want to say speed dating because it's not speed dating. I guess speed presenting. That's what it is. Every 15 minutes, we'll be changing gears. So then we also have new this year, camps and clubs. So you can go and find out about other people's colleges. Keeping on going, well, there's so much here. There's our maps and the shuttle information we talked about before. Oh my gosh, I forgot it. Well, guess what? You got your app already downloaded. You can go to shuttle. Do I want to go downtown or airport? It tells me everything I need to know. There's the information. So you can go completely paperless. It's wonderful, especially if you're traveling from the East Coast, right? Well, you know what? There's also a photo album. You can add to that photo album. Don't know where to eat? Well, there's restaurants. List and list and list of restaurant after restaurant. Of course, Kevin has put on here everything, some local favorites. I'm sure that came from our hospitality group. That's going to be our local committee is going to have for you. And also we have, you can make your to-do list, San Diego information, because there's so much to do in San Diego. Hey, got to check the weather, got to know how to dress. So this is truly a great way to get ready for your conference and a great way to track where you're going to go and don't miss anything, although you can't do it all. I tried that and it just doesn't work. So let's go back now to the slideshow. I want to make sure I didn't forget anything. I did forget one thing while we're getting our slideshow back up. So the thing of it is, I'm just asking you to use this app all the time and how wonderful it is. Well, the great news is we have Wi-Fi available in the hotel, in the meeting rooms, in the general areas, and also in your hotel room. So Wi-Fi, you need to have the password. The password is AMATIC 2017 without any spaces. AMATIC 2017. The nice thing is you can use any device. You can use an iPhone or iPad, an Android pad. My Microsoft Surface I'm going to bring with me. My Android phone I'm going to bring with me. laptops, etc., can be used on this Wi-Fi. And of course, you need it because
I think Darlene lost connection.
Well, while we're trying to get her back, could I just say a word about the Wi-Fi?
Sure.
It is there for everybody to use on their devices. However, if you are doing a presentation where you ask for internet access and you plan to show videos or use a lot of bandwidth and want it to be very reliable, make sure that when you look at your invitation under equipment, it says that you have internet. If you have internet, you ask for internet and your invitation says you have internet, you will also have a hardwired connection for yourself as a speaker. But everybody attending will have the Wi-Fi for their mobile devices.
Great, thanks, Judy. That was one of the questions that was in the Q&A box already.
Okay.
Okay, go on to our Presider duties. So some of you out there are listening and want to know what is it that you need to do as a presider, especially now we're not going to be tallying and have those paper session evaluations. First thing, top of the list, you already heard it once, you're going to hear it again, register with Judy and myself. If we do not know you are there, we are going to be panicking. If I don't know you're there and your time is getting close to presiding, I'm probably going to ask somebody to take your duty from you and give it to someone else who wants to do the presiding, because we can't be stuck without a presider for a presentation. And don't forget, by presiding, you do get an entry into the drawing for 2 nights stay in Orlando in 2018. So as a presider, when you receive your packet, you're going to have a label on that packet. That packet's going to tell you the title, and it's going to tell you the session number. It's going to tell you the room, the day, the time, and it's also going to tell you the equipment that is to be in that room. That equipment will match the equipment that was promised on our invitation to present to the presenters. That is the only equipment they will have in that room. So before the presentation, you'll want to talk with your presenter and have some kind of a signal when there's maybe 10 minutes left, 5 minutes left, 2 minutes left, because your job as a presider is to make sure the session begins on time and ends on time. You'll want to also offer assistance to the speaker. You may want to have handouts, collect things, whatever they might ask you to do to assist them. After the session is over, you want to thank the attendees and thank the speakers. There will be certificates of appreciation to be given to the speakers. Please remind all of the attendees to use the evaluation on the app, and the speaker will be getting those emails. When you remind them, please make sure you tell them the title and the session number, because we certainly don't want a mistake where they clicked on the wrong session number to give an evaluation. So always say the session number and the title at the end of the presentation. When you're complete, you want to turn in the packet. Well, we do ask that you count one thing, and that's the number of attendees. So about midway through that presentation, you'll count to see how many attendees. There's a spot for you to just fill that in. Also, we will take your written comments about the presentation. You'll bring that envelope back to our registration booth. We will remove your ticket for your chance to win, and then we will take your other information and put that away. So really not a big deal, but it's a very important job for our conference, and we appreciate your help with presiding at these sessions. And now Judy, nope, I'm wrong, it's Honey. Honey's going to tell you about the poster session.
Hi, those of you who are presenting a poster, I'm so happy to have you this year. The session will be Friday afternoon, but what I would need, again, so that I have a good night's sleep, Wednesday and Thursday nights, check in with me when you get there. These are my official hours. I'll be somewhere near the registration desk. So what you'll do is check in at registration and then just come to me to let me know that you're there, and I'll have a sign-in sheet. If it's not during these official hours, the sign-in sheet will be there. You can check with Judy or Darlene, and generally I'm around all the time anyway. On Friday, the day of our session, I'll be there just first thing in the morning before breakfast. For those of you who are staying in a different hotel, you might want to bring your poster with you and then just leave it with me between 7 and 7:30 before we all go off to the breakfast meeting. When you check in with me, if your poster is not completely done, which most people are not finished, here's the supplies that I have for you. I have the poster board, and I've sent you before the dimensions of it. All sorts of mounting supplies, so glue, tape, stapler, clips, and then scissors, markers, whiteout should you have a mistake on it. That's been done. Everything will be there for you to just check out, and then when you're finished with it, you bring it back for someone else to be able to share. The setup is going to hopefully begin at 9:15. Now remember, this is where we're in the regional breakfast. Luckily, just happened to be this way, my regional breakfast is in the poster setup room. So I will be there, and as soon as breakfast is finished, I'll be looking for you and we can start setting up. You each have a number. The first person, actually, she's not the first person in the alphabet. Everything was alphabetized. So let's say the second person in the alphabet will be PS002, and you can find that on the app. And that's the way we set up, because people that come to the poster session look ahead of time to see which ones they're particularly interested in, and they'll mark them off, and then we make it easy by putting everyone in order so they can come and find whoever it is that they're looking for with their questions. I have numbers that we put on, I have on the table, so you'll know if your poster session 35, find the number 35, set up your poster, and clip the number on it. And again, I'll be around to help you out. And we have about 48 posters, and there's 2 to a table, so you'll have a neighbor. Then you can leave the poster and do what you want to do until 1:45. We'll see you back there. Everyone needs to be there for the official 2-hour session. And then, as you see, takedown and cleanup starts immediately at 3:45. If you don't want to take anything home, that's fine. Just leave me but if you do want it, we'll file it. We'll dispose of it carefully. And if you want to take it, I just ask that you leave me the number and the clip, because I'll use them again next year in Orlando. Here is my, didn't I already show that? The registration hours. And now I want to spend just a couple minutes to talk about what we are all very excited about, what's new in San Diego. And again, those of you who offered to be presenters at this, yay, 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 we're excited. I hope you are too. Those of you who are not presenting, I know you'll want to be here. Chat and Chew, Thursday morning, 8 to 8:50. This is what Darlene mentioned as the speed speaking or speed presenting. You will come in and you'll get a pastry by our corporate sponsors. You bring your coffee or your drink of choice, and then you have an opportunity to join a table and a discussion facilitated by one of our speakers. And in the 50 minutes, you get to pick 3 different topics. You can see them listed on your app and pick the 3 that you want to join, the 3 discussions. Thursday at 1:50, is our Camps and Club, also a new session. This came about when the presentations or the proposals were being read. There were a number of them that had similar topics, camps and clubs. So the committee thought, wow, let's just have a session including all of them so that we didn't have to pick one or two over the others. So all of those will have a chance to have an informal discussion again at 1:50, and that's not where you should be able to check in with everybody. It's both clubs on campus and camps on campus or in the community. So come and check that out Thursday afternoon. And Thursday morning, it's on the West Coast, so everybody's going to be awake at 8 o'clock. We expect to see you there. Social media, not only do we thank you for your presentations and for presiding, we thank you for your marketing. Many of you came to AMATIC the first time because why? Another friend or colleague invited you or told you how terrific it was. Well, my first one was in 1993. That was pre-Facebook, Twitter, and so on. But now that we have all these, you can share not just by word of mouth, but by word of picture and word of words to let people know what's going on. And we'd love to see you doing some of this during the 3 days that you're there. Anybody have anything to add to that? Okay. What are your questions? Julie will take over and she'll read the questions aloud, and then Darlene, Judy, and I will fight over who gets to answer them.
Sounds great. Sounds great. So there have been some questions that have been rolling in as you guys have been talking today. If you guys think of something else that you want to ask, Judy, Honey, and Darlene, please put them in the question and answer box. These two are from the chat window. I did get them out of there. One question was, if the mobile app is loaded onto more than one device, are they synced? Like, so can you see your schedule and everything on both devices?
As long as you are logged in, yes. So if you log in and make your schedule on a Microsoft Surface, and then you say, oh, I'm not going to lug that around today. Instead, I'm just going to go on my Android phone. As long as you were logged in, that's why it didn't give me my schedule today, because I had not logged in. So logging in is the key.
Perfect. Perfect. Another question is, as a presider, can I get a copy of the instruction and notes slide, or is it in the information packet?
Everything is already in the information packet. Also, if you were assigned as a presider early enough, I had sent out instructions of what you're going to be receiving and those instructions ahead of time. If you were not and you'd like to get a copy of those, if you'll just send me an email. Julie, I think you have everybody's email to give. If not, we can come circle back at the end and make sure everybody's email is there. If you do that, I'll be glad to give you those instruction sheet ahead of time.
Okay.
My other, ladies, the other thought is, are they asking, will they have a copy of what the presenter is going to be presenting? Is that the slides that they're asking for?
I'm not sure. I think it was...
If that's the question, that's...
I don't think that was the question, but okay. Maybe that individual could let us know if we did or didn't answer it. That would be fine.
And as a presenter, you put a brief bio in your submission. Darlene has copies of those in the packet to help you introduce the speaker. And I can also say a few people have been emailing me that they wanted to update their bio, so they may hand you, as a presider, a new piece of paper. But just be flexible.
Okay. When I think this question came in like way back when we were on the slide that showed the adapters that you would have to project your presentation. And the question is this: in Denver, the adapters were provided for our laptops. Are you saying they won't be this time?
No, they will be. But if your computer does not take either one of those adapters that you see the picture for, then you need to bring something for yourself.
Okay, thanks for clearing that one up. Another question was, when do we pick up the poster?
You can pick it up Any day starting Wednesday at 4 o'clock. And if you go back in the slides, you'll see the hours that I'm there.
Another question was, I'm a presenter and have handouts. Should I pre-print my handouts before coming to the conference?
There is a business center in the hotel. However, I think if your school will get them printed for you, that will probably be much less expensive.
Definitely, definitely. Will there be kiosks available for those without a smartphone? So what if you come to the conference and you don't have a device?
Okay, so are they referring to for evaluations of sessions?
Perhaps. I'm assuming that it would be for evaluations.
I don't believe that that has been put into the plan, and the problem is that as a person that's logged in on a device, you can only rate or evaluate one session one time. And to have a kiosk, only one person would be able to use it under that sign-in, so it kind of makes that almost impossible. Now, if you have a buddy you're coming with, if you have a colleague, and if you wanted to fumble enough to sign out, have them sign out, you sign in, and you do your evaluation, that's fine. I certainly would allow you to do that on I'll be having 2 devices at the conference, and if you wanted to come up and, give that evaluation, I can sign out and let you sign in and create a username, and you can come back and do it that way. I'd be glad to help out in that way, but you will still need to have your own sign-in.
Right.
And while ideally you would evaluate right at the end of the session while it's still fresh in your memory, you can do it later in the day. Is it until 5 or 8 p.m. that evaluations could still be done for a day?
I believe it's 6 p.m.
6 p.m.
and noon on Sunday.
Another question came in, and I wish I would have done this 2 years ago. And it is, I'm mailing my materials to the hotel, and Kevin gave this person an address. So do you know what the handling charge will be at the hotel?
No, I do not know.
No.
Yeah.
I do not know, but one of the ladies in the office may know if they want to drop an email to Beverly. They may know those fees, or maybe Kevin may know those fees.
Beverly's on it. She said it's either $35 or $40. So, and it might be worth it. Like, I had a whole bunch of games and activities that I brought, and it was incredible. I didn't put them in my bag on the plane. I took them with me through security, and that was quite a trip too. They're like, "What is this stuff?" But I wish I would have mailed it. It would have been worth the headache to deal with that, even for $40, just because it was difficult to deal with. I've got another question here in the chat window, and it was, let's see. I wonder if this is a typo. I was asked to be a presenter. I think they're saying presider with a possible session, but don't recall receiving a confirmation. What do I need to confirm the session and obtain the pre-packet information? Would that be just checking in with you, Darlene?
Yeah, if you're unsure, just come right to the registration booth where Judy and I will be, and we can make sure that if you've signed up to be a presider, we can give that packet to you. Any kind of confirmation should have come to you to an email address that AMATIC has on file. Now, I will tell you there were some that came back and said undeliverable, but I pulled them right off of the spreadsheet. So if that was what happened, please check in with me. And there's always, by the way, there's always plans change for people as they arrive or in the last few minutes, and they decide they wanted to do something at that time, a particular session or maybe a commercial session. And if that happens, just come to the booth and check with me, because so often people have signed up to be a presider in case somebody drops out.
Okay, we've got another question that came in, and it is, as a presenter, how do I find out if I submitted a bio?
Well, they can email me and I can see what's on the spreadsheet, but the time is almost up. I will be on email tomorrow because I get the joy of being at the Office of the President. And Saturday and Sunday and Monday, I will be traveling. But when I arrive on Monday to the hotel, I will be checking my email at that time. So if you email me, just don't panic.
And it was part of the submission document. If you're not sure that you filled that portion in, maybe a safe thing would be just to write up a few sentences about yourself and have it with you just in case.
That's good advice. Are there any other questions? I'm trying to watch the question and answer box here. I don't see any other questions coming in. We'll pause just in case someone's typing something at the moment. We don't want to miss you.
We thank you for your time today. Look forward to seeing you in San Diego. And for those of you who've never met any of us, now you know what we look like. Come to the registration area anytime you have questions or you just want to see a familiar face.
Sounds great. And you just got to thank you so far. Yeah, thank you very much for doing this. I know it's kind of a hectic time for all of us right before we are going to go out of town and go to a conference for a few days. And I know we all appreciate the time that you took to let us know what's going on and answer these questions. I'm going to go ahead and take back over, I believe. I think I'm ready to do that. I do have a little bit of wrap up here for us today. I wanted to thank you, of course, for being here today to support future webinars and becoming a member of AMATIC. Please see bit.ly/join-AMATIC. Oops, I missed Facebook. Didn't mean to. And they were talking about social media, and AMATIC's got a Facebook page as well as each region. So if you haven't joined your region's page, I know I'm in the Midwest and my page is very, very active. Our vice president lets us know what's going on, and people have conversations about stuff. It's pretty cool. So if you haven't checked that out, you should definitely check that out even before you get there. Recordings of past webinars from AMATIC can be found at bit.ly/AMATIC/webinars. That is also in my signature line of every email that you get from me, so that's where it goes. Normally it takes 1 to 2 weeks, but I'm going to expedite this one so that hopefully it gets up and more people can see it, or you can review it before you get to San Diego. We do have an evaluation that we'd like you to fill out. If you need confirmation that you were here to get like a certificate to say, hey, I was at this webinar, you've got to fill out the survey. And it is bit.ly/AMATIC64. And I've got a URL loaded here in the chat window that I'm going to push out to you so that you can just load it from there. I will hang around for a little bit, but I am going to turn off the recording at this point.